Guys, well here we are in Fusion 360 and we're continuing with our injection molding machine project. We're moving right along. In last week's video we worked on the injection chamber here, more specifically the main body here, which will house the heater tubes and also the thermocouple for the PID. In today's video we're going to work on the cone section. Now this will slide over the top of the stainless steel tube, and this will just funnel the material down into the heat chamber here. The chamber cone is made up of 2.5-inch diameter 6061, and what we're going to do is I had to get creative with work holding on this particular project because this is only 2 inches wide and 2.5 inches diameter, and in order to turn down the funnel shape here, what I did was I just made this twice as long for the stock here, and then I'm just going to turn the outside funnel shape here, and then I'm going to flip it around and do two. Then I'll come back and just split it in half with a bandsaw and do the internal portion of the funnel. Now the first thing we're going to do to get our stock set up here is I'm going to bore this center hole. Now this center hole is just 1 inch diameter, so it can slide over the stainless steel tube. It's going to go all the way through the stock here. So the first operation is going to be this outside profiling here, and then we're going to do a finishing pass. Now, as I'm recording this, I've already machined this part, and you'll see when we go out there I recorded this two different ways. So this first operation here, I thought I could get by with some pecking, and you know, it's funny when you're machining these parts, these are all the first time I've ever machined these parts, and I haven't done anything similar to this. And so it's always a learning curve, especially when you're doing these one-off parts, trying to figure out everything. And I still didn't get it dialed in correctly the way I really wanted it. My surface speed could have been a little bit more than 350, and the feed rate could have been a little bit higher as well, I believe. Now I did come back because originally I had it going where I was doing a peck. I had the pecking set up for 0.25 horizontally and retracting 50 thousandths. And the chips were still quite long. The problem with small machines like this is it's hard to get the feed rate and the depth of cut to where you can use the chip breaker on the indexable tool. So that's why I was trying to use this pecking, but it didn't work out. You'll see I machined one of these with the pecking, and I machined the other without the pecking, so you can see the difference. I'll try to edit that video so I can show both of those. But I did not use pecking. I don't recommend using pecking. And I didn't leave any Z stock, but I did leave X. For the passes, I started out at first with 15 thousandths, and then I bumped that up to 20 thousandths, and that seemed to work out pretty well. I still could have increased my feed rate a little bit. Again, I only had it at 0.007 per revolution. I probably could have bumped that out up a little bit to maybe 15 thousandths or so, but it did turn out okay. So that is our roughing pass, and then our finish pass is just removing that last 4 thousandths. So let's simulate this. So I went ahead and faced the stock when I was prepping it, so I didn't use a facing operation. And as this turns down, you'll be able to see on the video that as it's stopping each time, it's kind of leaving little lines and imperfections where it stops, but that'll get removed with the finishing pass. But overall, I think it turned out well. So that's our first operation, is to do the outside. And then our second operation is going to be the inside. So we're going to do this funnel here. Now originally I had it going all the way through and getting this flat as well, but I changed that, and I'm just doing the cone portion here, and I'm going to stop it right there. You'll see here in just a second. But again, I had pecking on this originally, and so I went back and changed that. I left the feed the same, and that's okay for this internal tool. I did increase the stock to leave by 1/1000th. So that should give me 10/1000ths total. Pretty much the same. You have to be careful with this internal because we only have a 1-inch diameter to work with, so I did have to set my retract and the radius is in here for my clearance, so that I'm able to machine this without the tool scraping the backside here. Now the first thing I know many of you are going to say is, why didn't you set up your stock for tubes, since you already have that 1-inch bore going through there? And I'll explain that in just a second, but let's go ahead and do the simulation. Alright, and you can see that we just went down to the bottom of the cone, because remember, we already have that 1-inch through bore there. Okay, so the reason I chose not to use a tube is, I'll show you here. For some reason, I don't know why it does this, but if I select fixed tube size, it's got my stock inner diameter at 1, which is the way I have my stock, 2.5-inch OD, 2-inch length. So I've got to regenerate this. Okay, so now our stock does appear to be correct with the tube. But notice how it only machines to here. For some reason it doesn't go all the way to the bottom of the cone. I'm not sure why it's doing that, but it only gets a small portion. I'm guessing it's showing that it has all the machining there, but when you simulate it, it's only showing just a little bit. So I'm not quite sure. Maybe it's something in the setup that I'm just overlooking, or something. However, as long as the code comes out the way I want it to, it doesn't really matter to me if the simulation is incorrect. So I just left it at the solid stock, and then it generates, for some reason it generates the G code just fine. So again, I'm not real sure why that is the case. And then it gives you, of course, it gives you this little cautionary tale here, this little symbol here showing you that it crosses the rotary axis. So I'm not sure what's going on with that, but as long as I can manipulate it and get it to machine correctly, I'm okay with that. So now let's now that we've got all that sorted out, let's go out to the G0602 and we'll go ahead and machine this out. Alright, so now we're going to machine the cone. Now what I've got here is a piece of stock that's double, and I'm going to machine the outside of the cone on each piece. I'm going to flip it around, machine 2, and then we'll cut it in half, and then we'll machine the inside. So this G code going to look like something like this. I can get that shadow off of there. Okay. Pretty straightforward. I've already bored the 1-inch hole all the way through. I did that manually, and now we're just going to machine the outside of the cone. So let's get started. See what's going on here. Okay. Alright, I'm hoping this is a good view. So let's get started. Trying to get a better view here. Should be taking a deeper cut here. It's not really taking off enough. I was worried about that. I've got the pecking set for a 1/4 inch, which is way too much. I'm going to just stop it here. We're going to fix this mess. Give me just a second. Okay, so I've cleaned the chips that was wrapped around here and I've backed it up. And now I'm going to do a run from here So what I've done is I've scrolled back up to where we're back somewhere right in here. I'm going to do set next line, and then I'm going to do a cycle start. Sorry, set next line. Then I'm going to do it from here. It's going to kind of rerun all of that. Then I'm going to hit cycle start. It's going to ask me if I want to move X, Y, and Z. Now you need to be careful and make sure that you're right. You can see this is wanting to move Z to minus 1.8, which we don't want to do. It's going to move X to 2.52, which is okay. So it's trying to get us back to retract move over here somewhere. So I'm going to cancel. The next move is going to be 0.004, which is on minus 0.04 now, so that should move Z okay. And then 2.38, which is where I'm already at on the Z. So we're going to start the spindle, start the cycle start, turn the coolant on, and then we're back to where we were, or thereabouts. Hopefully I won't get any chips wrapping around there again. Alright, well, we are about 13 minutes in, and you can see we still got a good bit to go. I definitely need to tweak the G-code here. I think I can go a little bit deeper per pass, and I definitely can get rid of the peck, I believe, or at least shorten it up, and maybe feed a little bit faster as well. Alright, we'll fast forward till we get closer to the completion here. Alright, we're just getting close to the end here. Okay, so that was G-code with the pecking, and you saw how that was. It was very time consuming, very slow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be clamping it right here on this portion, and I'm going to we're going to be turning the other side, and then we'll cut it in half, and I'll get 2 funnels or 2 cones. So with the next section here, I think what I'll do is I'll take out that pecking. I'm going to tweak the G-code a little bit, take a little bit larger depth of cut per pass, and see if we can't speed that G-code up, the machine runtime a little bit. Alright, so I've got the piece flipped over here, and we're going to machine the second side here. And this time I took out the pecking, and the depth of cut is just 0.02, 20 thousandths. Before it was 15 thousandths, so not a lot deeper, but just a little bit deeper. I'm a little concerned that the stock's going to fly out of here because I'm just barely holding it on the end of the funnel here. So let's see what happens. right. That turned out really nice. Okay, alright, so we've got the stock flipped around here for our cone, and we've got it mounted in the G0602. I split it in half with the bandsaw, and then I came back and I just faced this off a little bit. It's still not completely cleaned up, but that's all going to get removed when we do the inside. So I've got it set up. It's just one tool change. So I've already got it to the correct tool, and we're just going to be doing the inside here of the cone. Hopefully I've got the feeds and speeds correct. We'll just have to see. Alright, so let's get started. take a look. That looks pretty good. I can just finish this edge up here, round it off with a file, and that should be good to go. Alright, so we'll get this out of here and we'll take a closer look. That looks pretty good. Alright, there we go. Alright, so that is our cone, or our funnel, for the top of the injection molding chamber. Well, alright, that wraps up the funnel here. I did drill and tap a hole here for an M4 set screw to kind of lock it in place. I'm not sure about the height here. If I need to shorten this and lower it down, I can do that. I just wanted to make sure that I had clearance for the heater cartridge to go in here and the wiring to come out. I think overall it turned out really well. This is going to slide down into the cartridge mount, like so. And then I may need to come back and drill and tap for a set screw here to lock this in place. But yeah, I think overall it's turning out really well. In the next video, I believe we'll do some assembly, and then we can start working on some of the 3D printed pieces for the pellet metering device, as well as the electronics enclosure. So guys, stay tuned for that. If you're new to my channel and you're just tuning in, please click on that subscribe button in the bottom right hand corner. Also click on that notification bell. That way when I post a new video like this one, they'll send a link, and if it's something you're interested in, you can stop by and check it out. As always, please feel free to ask questions, make suggestions, or leave comments. Thumbs up if you like the video, please subscribe, and most importantly, be safe.